Hello, Carmen Molitor with the Pinnacle Team at RE Properties. I am here with Kelli Holt from Farmers Insurance. So excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
Kelli, can you share with us a little bit about you?
Yes.
About yourself.
Yes, of course. My name is Kelli Holt. I am the owner of Holt Agency. We're a farmers insurance agency. I'm in my 7th year as a farmers agent. I've been in the insurance industry since 1998. So we're going into a couple decades now, but really enjoy being a farmer's agent and the challenges that are recently coming with insurance these days.
Challenges, yes. Some of you may have heard or noticed that your premiums are going up just a little, or your deductible, or both. So, Kelli, what the heck is happening?
Yes, that's a loaded question. Okay, so let's just let's unpack that question a little bit and let's talk about, kind of the elephant in the room, which is the rates. My understanding and kind of some of the information I've seen, the average homeowner is experiencing about a 57% rate increase in the state of Colorado. Some are going to be higher, some are lower. A lot of that really depends on where you live, right? Size of the home, any prior claims. We're seeing obviously some of those higher increases in the heavily wooded and rural areas. But just to kind of bring a little perspective into it, last year in 2023, 1 week in the month of June, when we had some pretty significant hail, just that 1 week accounted for over $1 billion in losses.
Wow.
And so,
Wow.
I always hear people go, oh, it's because we have hail in Colorado, which is true, and it is hail in Colorado. Last year was a high hail season. When we go back a few years, let's talk about the Marshall Fire, right? That was in Louisville, Colorado.
That was awful.
And that was not in a wooded area. That was not in what we would expect.
Right.
That kind of was where the iceberg tipped in our state to make us a wildfire state. So now we have hail and wildfire. We've gone over $2 billion in losses on that claim as well. So that's just in our little state. And when you look from a national average in 2023, there was nationwide in 2023, there was over 28 separate billion-dollar losses, catastrophes, for a total of $54 billion. So when you start doing the math on that, it makes sense. The thing about insurance companies is they have to forecast their losses.
Interesting.
To determine their current premium, because when you think of a homeowner's policy, it's every 12 months. Well, in 2022, there was only $18 billion losses. I think in the state of, in the year of 2022, we had about it was like 34 billion in total losses. And so, not knowing when they did those rates what 2023 was going to bring, and almost have a 30% higher loss. So insurance companies right now are struggling to not necessarily even be profitable, just being solvent.
Wow. And
that's why we're seeing these huge rate increases, because they have to get their reserves back up.
What about the deductibles?
Yeah, so, and we're seeing that, and I think we're going to continue to see it. Homeowners are going to have to start taking some of that responsibility. Insurance is designed to write the big checks.
Yeah, gone are the days of the deductible for $2,500,
Oh, yeah.
And it is closer to, what is more common right now?
So on the wind hail, in the state of Colorado, we separate those. Wind and hail is standard is 1% with most carriers. Some of us are continue to be grandfathered in with our carrier. Some of the carriers are going away from that. But 1%, 1 to 2% I'm hearing on the front. Some carriers are moving to 2%. And that's 2% of the replacement of your home. So if your home is insured for $500,000, that puts your deductible at about 5%.
5%?
I mean $5,000.
Yeah.
Thank you. $5,000. Now you can do 5%. That's a good way to lower your premium. So, and let's talk about that for a second, is how to lower your premium since we're on it. My conversation with my insureds is, what is your risk tolerance? And what are you comfortable coming out of pocket in the event of a claim? Whether it be water, hail, wind, frozen pipe, because whatever that risk level is, let's set your deductible to that. And then we decide, if there's a claim, do we file a claim?
Yep, that makes sense.
I mean, if there's a weather event.
Because filing too many claims can be problematic, for sure.
Which is probably going to be one of your questions about non-renewals.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly. Read my mind.
I
How'd you
know.
I was
How
going
did I
there?
know that? Because it all is this vicious cycle, and it just keeps going around and around. And but yeah, and that's so true. Non-renewals, we're seeing some carriers non-renew after 1 claim, some after 2.
I've always heard that the 3 strikes you're out kind of thing. But
Yeah,
sounds like that's
I
getting
don't
worse.
think they're getting to 3 strikes right now. Unfortunately, I think 2 is really where we're seeing a lot of carriers. It depends. Again, it depends on the carrier. It depends on the claim. All of that kind of stuff, and it's all. It's just so individual. There's not really a one size fits all.
Yeah.
With those claims, it's also hard to find a new policy.
That makes sense because they're considered higher risk.
Correct, and they've got that history, and so they're going to look back 3 to 5 years, and if there's more than 2 claims, some carriers won't even take more than 1 claim. Excuse me. So we as agents are trying to be very proactive with our clients and making sure that if there is that risk that we need to file a claim, let's put a second set of eyes on whatever that loss, if it's water, hail, and make sure that it's not.
Yeah, we sent messages out to all of our clients in the past about if you have hail, don't just call in a claim. Call us, we'll connect you with some great roofing companies in town, and they'll check out your roof for free and let you know, yes, you should probably file a claim, or no, don't.
Don't,
right?
yeah.
So, and they can give you a bid what it would cost us to replace it.
For sure,
Right.
or repair it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Our roofers here are great. I would say the majority of the roofers really know what those what the requirements are before an insurance company will buy a roof and replace it. And that's another thing, you know, I always joke and say, when it comes to hail claims, and this is another thing we're seeing, is where insurance companies are scheduling roofs. In other words, at the time of the loss, depending on the age of the roof, you may not get 100% roof replacement. You're going to get an appreciated amount, and that's as much as you're going to get. But when you think about it, hail damage is, outside of some of the large hailstones we've seen in the past few years, it's cosmetic damage. And so insurance companies are putting brand new roofs on 20-year homes that have roofs that are 20 years old. They're getting a brand new roof because there's cosmetic damage.
Yeah.
They don't do that for your car.
No.
And so it's just a mind shift, right?
Yep.
We just have to get our consumers to have that mind shift and know, like, that nest egg is more and more important even now, so that you can do that.
Yeah, so besides having enough money in the bank account to just pay for your own roof if you need to and avoid a claim or any of the other damages, repairs, etc., what are some other things the homeowner general public can do? Is there anything?
You know, I mean, yeah, it's tough. I would say, obviously, if you're already settled in your home, talk to your agent. Raising deductibles, I know that's not comfortable. We don't like that, but raising your deductibles
Bring that premium
will
down.
bring it down. And
Bundling your home and auto, a lot of people
my
still don't know
gosh.
that that's a thing.
yeah,
So,
bundling home and auto is, it kind of spreads the risk for the carrier. And so bundling your home and auto, credit is super important. I know people get really frustrated because they're like, I don't understand why my credit should affect my rates. But I have seen where some of our insureds have rate increases that have gone through life events and their credit has suffered and their rates have gone up.
That's too bad.
So, you know, it's not just based solely on credit, it's an entire insurance score, and it takes into account credit and loss history, driving records, you know, a number of different things.
Fire
lines, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people don't even know what a fire line is, and nobody really wants to know what it is.
and that's a conversation for Kelly.
Yeah. But if you live in the heavily treed areas and or rural areas or both, expect to pay more, and just know that that's probably the areas that are being targeted and non-renewed the most right now.
So I was with a different carrier for 30 years, and this lady just saved me a ton of money for the exact same coverage. I mean, a ton.
Yeah.
And we didn't have to raise our deductible. It was the exact same coverage for our home and auto, and thank you for that.
You're
So
welcome.
you should
Our
really
pleasure.
be talking to Kelly to see if she can do the same magic for you that she did for
I
me.
hope so. I hope
Yeah.
we can work magic. Our rates have stabilized with farmers, and so we were in this rate increase environment 2 years ago, and we were really struggling. But they were kind of the first to the party, as I like to say, and we struggled as agents, but now we're really being able to save people, and we're happy just to look at coverages and make recommendations. If it doesn't make sense, it just doesn't make sense.
So how can they get a hold of you?
Our office number is 719-434-5588. Any of the people in my office can help. I have 2 full-time licensed agents that can take information and do quotes, or I'm always happy to help.
You guys were great, so quick, great information,
Oh,
so
thanks.
helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And thanks for tuning in.